the pack.
Hi guys, quick preview of the upcoming Wolves game against Ipswich. So firstly, going to go straight into the latest news from Gary O'Neill's press conference. So injury-wise, same as last week, we've only got Jose Sarr and Sarabia that are not going to be in the squad. We still have long-term injuries in Yassine Mosquera, in Sasa, and in Boubacar Traore. But some positive news. I don't know if he's going to actually get into the squad, probably going to be a bench player for the future, but Boubacar Traore is looking closer now to returning, potentially in the next couple of weeks or maybe 3 weeks. We might see him in the matchday squads. He's obviously getting back into like training, probably light stuff on the grass. So really positive news. Gary said he's probably a player now in the future that we can bring on to give something a little bit different in the midfield. So he's obviously quite excited to get him back, and obviously great news for us. If we've like, the more times we get suspensions and stuff, we've got more players available. Joe Gomez is actually missing. I don't know if anyone saw that, but he got a yellow card, which means he's now got 5 yellows, so he's not going to be available for the Ipswich game. So we are going to be missing a midfielder. Latest news as well that Lamina isn't going to be club captain anymore. That's been passed over to Nelson Semedo. Hopefully that pressure coming off him now can maybe help him with his game. I think being captain was maybe affecting him mentally and like emotionally. So I think maybe we can see a little bit more of him and hopefully get the best out of him. So some good news for me, because I don't think maybe Lamina should have been captain after the last few weeks, and I think Semedo is a really good option to bring in. Definitely a player that's been with the club for a long time under the Nuno era. So I know he's not really the most vocal person, but I think you can see that when he's on the pitch that he does have a more calming presence to him. He's that good of a player now. He kind of brings the best out of people around him. But let's move on to the game. So for me, it's a difficult one because who do we play? Because we're obviously missing Gomez, we're missing Jose Sarr, we're missing some players around the squad. So what's the lineup going to be? For me, Doherty, last game and the previous game, looks back to his best. I don't know how it's happened. Almost reminds me of the Doherty of old from the Nuno era. Great goal. Great movement. I don't know what he's been doing in training, but he looks back to his old ways. And for me, you've got to play him. I thought he was definitely one of our best players against West Ham, where there was a lot of players that didn't look that great. And for me, Doc looked unbelievable. So we've got to find a way to get Semedo and Doc into the lineup. So I'd maybe play a back 5. I'd maybe look at playing like a hybrid kind of formation, like a back 4 when we attack, and a back 5 when we're defending. So maybe Semedo drops in as a right centre back and Doherty as a full back, and then as a wing back, and then when we are attacking, Semedo goes into that fullback position, and then Doherty goes up almost into a right winger position. So a little bit like we were seeing last season with Nori and Totti, how everyone was pulling back and Totti was in the back line, and then when we attacked, Totti went out to left back, Nori went as a winger. It just gives you that additional extra person when you're attacking. I think we can definitely do that on the right hand side with Semedo. It'll help us out defensively because we'll have a back 5, but when we're attacking, it'll be a back 4. Semedo will be at his best as a wing back. As a fullback, and then Doherty can get a little bit higher up and help on that attack on the right hand side. So definitely something I think we may see. I think for me, Santi Brello didn't have the best game against Ipswich, so I'd be looking at bringing Dawson back. I know everyone's saying he's finished, he's done, but I don't think so. I think he's had some good games this season. I think he's had a little bit of time off with whether it was illness, injury. He's come back. He's not looked 100%. The games have obviously come thick and fast. So I think now he's had a decent week off. Probably time to think about where his mistakes were. I think you've got to give him a chance. I don't think you can just write him off. I don't think Santi had the best game. So I'd potentially look at bringing Dawson in, maybe, as I say, with Totti. And then Semedo as like a hybrid back 3. So that's what I would do. Obviously, Nori on the left. as a fullback or wing back, depending on how Gary wants to line it up. Midfield, we're obviously missing Joe Gomez, so for me, I'd play Lamina and Andre. To be honest, I think it's a little bit harsh on Doyle. I say all this like I would probably like to play Doyle, but I just don't think Gary would do that. So for me, it'd probably be Lamina and Andre, but it's definitely harsh on Doyle, and I think when we saw him come on, he's definitely a player that can bring something different. For me, he's got to play more as like an impact sub, something like that. He's more of an attacking midfielder when he comes on, so definitely something that we need to look at. And I wouldn't be surprised if we ever did have a manager change. I know obviously he's staying now till January. I can see a new manager coming in and playing him more, but for some reason Gary just doesn't seem to like him. But definitely a player that we can have on the bench and definitely can affect games off the bench. So let's see what happens going forward. What else? Up front, definitely I'd play Larson. Definitely I'd play Cunha. So it's that third spot. It's every week we talk about it. I've been saying for ages, should be Guedes. Should it be Guedes this time round? I don't think he had the best game. So maybe do we need someone with a bit more attack, or do we need someone like Bellegarde? I think he'll play Bellegarde. For me, I'd probably look at playing someone like playing someone like Carlos Forbes or playing someone like Rodrigo Gomez. But I can see him playing Bellegarde. I think that's what the front three will be. I think it'll be Larson, Cunha and Bellegarde. So let's see what happens. For me, it's a massive game. It's a game really where I don't even think a draw will be good enough. I think at home to Ipswich, I think they've had one win in the last 4 games. You've got to get 3 points. If we don't get 3 points, we're in massive trouble. We're almost getting drifted away in the bottom of the table. So 3 points would really change it around, especially when I think it's Leicester after Ipswich. These are must-win games. For me, it's almost like we've definitely got to get 6 points out of these two. I don't think Ipswich are a great side. They've got some okay players. Obviously, Delap is someone that they're going to have to really, really work on in training. They've got to look at potentially getting two players, I think, to mark him. He's that dangerous. He's a really good player. And for us, he's going to be the player that could cause damage. So I definitely look at getting someone to be fully marking him the whole game. Maybe Dawson. We saw Dawson, what he did previously over the years with Haaland. I think something like that needs to happen. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a tougher game, because I think when you play these lower teams and they are desperate for points, it's almost like a scrappy game. So yeah, we definitely got to get 3 points, and hopefully Gary hasn't lost the dressing room. Hopefully Lamina's antics on the pitch after the game last week hasn't affected too much. Hopefully we can start the game, and we've got to do something about these set pieces. We can't be letting players wander into the box unmarked and getting free headers. It's ridiculous. It's schoolboy stuff. It's something you learn when you're in a PE lesson. You have to be defending these set pieces. There has to be someone marking someone at all times. I know Gary likes to do zonal marking. It's this modern way of playing. But for me, you've got to go back to the old school, and you've just got to mark people. Tallest defender on Ipswich's tallest player. You know what I mean? You've got to get this set up right. Maybe they've sat the set piece coach, and that's affecting everything. But it's very basic defending. We shouldn't be doing it at this level. And Gary did say in the press conference he's been working so far the last couple of training sessions on those kind of errors and trying to make sure that they don't happen again. We've heard all this before, but generally there has to be change here, because we will go down a league if we're not doing the basics right. And it's so easy. Hopefully, as I say, we get some new players in January. We're desperate through another centre back, but for the time being, with who we've got left in the squad, we've got to start making changes, and we've got to start defending properly, because it is literally terrible to watch. I'm literally there throwing things at the TV because you can't believe how bad it is, and neutral fans are gobsmacked about how bad our training is, how bad the defence looks. The results, I think at the moment, we're like the worst defence for the last 20 years in the Premier League for letting in set pieces. I think we're like 3 times worse than anyone else in the league for defending set pieces. It's unbelievable. But let's hopefully that changes now. Let's hopefully we can make a few different tweaks to the squad. at home, at Molineux, crowd behind him, and hopefully we get 3 points. We need 3 points. It is Ipswich. You know what I mean? It's not like we're playing one of the top guns. We have to try and get something out of this game and hopefully start moving up the table. So cheers for watching, guys. Make